Good afternoon. I would like to express first of all, my genuine gratitude to parents as teachers and to our co-host, Senator Roy Blunt and Senator Patty Murray, for allowing me an opportunity to share with you this afternoon regarding parents as teachers and the difference it makes in school districts like the Normandy School District in St. Louis, Missouri. I am Dr. Stanton Lawrence, and I serve as superintendent of schools in what is arguably the most challenged school district in the state of Missouri, the Normandy School District. Allow me to share for a moment and paint a portrait of our district and to describe how parents as teachers helps us to do a job that many people in the St. Louis region consider impossible. The Normandy School District is responsible for educating just over 5,000 students in 11 campuses from early childhood through 12th grade. Of Missouri's 524 school districts, none has a higher concentration of African American students than Normandy. And while that statistic alone does not equate to failure, nearly 84% of these youngsters come from families living in poverty. Time, along with some very compelling research, has taught us quite a bit about most communities with a high prevalence of people living in poverty. One factor that concerns us mightily is that children from those communities generally come to school less prepared to succeed academically than their counterparts from more privileged backgrounds, and Normandy is no exception. That is at the center of what I have to share this afternoon, that all across the country, school districts and campuses face the unfair challenge of serving students whose readiness to learn is severely compromised from the very beginning. And these systems are competing on a playing field that is anything but level. I think I'm going to have to give up and put my glasses on, you all. It's not working. I'm struggling here. Boy, vanity is something else, isn't it? As is routinely the case in such settings, and I'm referring to a district like ours, many parents either do not understand the importance of their involvement or they are overwhelmed with unimaginable personal circumstances that harshly restrict their ability to serve as capable support systems for their children who attend school. Parents as teachers focus on the school achievement of students at the entry point to the pipeline and really earlier, as well as subsequent performance in later years of schooling, is a huge game changer for us. 3 years ago, when I arrived in St. Louis, the first visits I made were not to the campuses within my school district. Instead, I dropped by about 12 of the daycare facilities that operate within the boundaries of the school district. In almost every instance, what I encountered were not places with highly trained staff and a curriculum that was approved by the National Association for the Education of Young Children. Instead, I discovered what we describe as mom and pop operations that simply made sure that the youngsters they served were kept safe and fed. They were able to focus very little attention on building an academic foundation that would establish these kids on the pathway to success once they arrived for their formal education. I need to clarify at this point that not all of the communities that exist within the footprint of our school district are impoverished. Another unique dynamic that sets Normandy apart from all other Missouri school districts is the 24 municipalities that exist within our school district, each led by different leaders, 24 diverse city councils and boards of aldermen. While no one can dismiss that many of these local bodies are comprised of underserved populations that struggle financially and socially, some, however, do not fit within that mold. A couple of our municipalities are middle class and are populated by educated professionals whose children are not served in the challenging settings that I just described. Their children never attend our schools, but are served instead in private schools. Normandy is also home to the University of Missouri St. Louis, but the fact remains that most of our citizens are people of very limited resources, and school readiness remains an issue for them and their children. It did not take me very long to conclude that circumstances related to poverty were primarily responsible for the district's accreditation status of provisionally accredited. This meant that the district had a limited window of time to regain its full accreditation, or it would become unaccredited, similar to what's occurred in the St. Louis City schools. In addition to the early childhood issue, which had long plagued the district, attendance and graduation rates left much to be desired. The overall attendance rate last year was 67.1%. The dropout rate was about 11.2%. These factors alone greatly minimize the likelihood that students in our school district will perform less well than students from backgrounds where poverty is not a factor. Now let's consider how parents as teachers changes the game for school districts like Normandy. As administrators, we have a pretty good grasp on how to positively impact teaching and learning, how to up our game as far as our curriculum, and how to make certain that teachers are connecting with kids. We make certain that we have capable and passionate leaders in our schools who understand that they must motivate their teachers to perform at a high level. Anyone who cannot deliver must get the training needed to improve, and those who cannot and do not improve must be ushered through the doorway toward other career options. We understand that. Where we encounter struggle is in our efforts to get parents involved on a broad scale. Last year, we established positions known as parent liaisons in all of our campuses. These individuals gave the principals additional firepower to try to reach parents and to encourage their involvement in schools. They also helped with the establishment of PTOs. And beyond that, they were able to beat the bushes and pound the pavement to just make parents more aware. Parents as teachers, on the other hand, has a tremendous track record of educating parents and equipping them with the skills needed to parent properly and to serve as that all-important advocate for the education of their children. The parent educators visit the homes of their students to model, coach, and consult with the parents in order to ensure that they are not only involved in the education of their students, they become that teacher at home who reinforces what is taught at school. These retooled parents become systems of support for their children. The outcomes of that bear out the effectiveness of this model as being a quite compelling research-based model. In the Normandy School District, we'd be hard-pressed to recognize outstanding gains in academics as we have this past year, but the relationship that we feel very fortunate to have with parents as teachers and the additional resources and skills that they come equipped with enables our district to move forward and to move in the direction of becoming a fully accredited school district that is placing young people on the pathway to college and beyond.